Everybody, welcome to another CSGO editing video. This one, I'm going to show you my editing workflow on how I edit my edits. This is just going to be a rough editing workflow video on how I do things. I'm not going to go fully in depth on how I do everything, just because that's a really long process and this video would be half an hour long. So to begin with, I record with HLE and Fraps. So I just launched HLE like so. Tools, developer, custom loader. Here is the settings I have. And of course I use reshade. I don't think my settings are that great, to be honest, but I think it looks pretty decent. Some would argue otherwise, but yeah, I use that. In CSGO I record with host frame rate 700, and then I use Fraps to record the clip, and my settings is 20 FPS. I don't record any of this, and I lock the frame rate, high mouse cursor and stuff like that. Then after that I use AVI Freight and set the frame rate to 1000 FPS. That way it makes it easy to work with velocity. That way you can set it all the way down to like 5% and it still looks smooth. But yeah, that's pretty much how I record things. It's probably not the best way. There are much better ways, I think, of recording, but that's the way I do it. And then I edit everything in Sony Vegas 14, or just Vegas 14. Some people ask me why I don't upgrade my version. And it's because I actually bought this program, so I just used the one I bought. There are obviously ways to get newer versions for free, but I'm just going to keep using this version because I'm used to it. They're all kind of the same anyway. Okay, so here is the project file. This is free to download. I'm pretty sure it's in the description of the edit, so you can download it and the clips as well. This is how I do my velocity. It looks pretty strange. This is very different from what I usually do. I'm used to doing the 4-point velocity, but I decided to like experiment with this one. It's been about 5-ish months since I last edited anything, so this is my return to editing, I guess. So yeah, as you can see, my velocity is very weird. It has a lot of points. I used to stick by the 4-point rule, but I decided to ditch that and just sort of do as many points as I want velocity. So as you can see here, some of these like have lots and lots of velocity points, as you can see, and some of them have very little, like here. The flow isn't 100% amazing. That's what I want to work on the most in my editing, because that is what's important. I think having good flow, color correction, sound effects, that sort of stuff. If you want to see my color correction settings, I use Magic Bullet Looks. So this is what I added onto the clip, onto everything. The CC is not that amazing, but I think it's decent enough. I use Magic Bullet Looks. So this is what I added here. So you can see I have contrast, exposure, pop, another exposure for some reason, a bit of HSL colors, film print, S-curve, shoulder. How I create presets is I just pick one here, pick a random preset, or pick a preset that looks nice, and then I just start adding stuff onto it and adjusting it to how I want it to look. So yeah, that's how I do things. Another thing on top, I use RSMB, so these are my RSMB settings if you want to copy them. These are pretty much the ones I use for everything. I used to like bump this up like really high, but after a while I started to see that like, it looks kind of terrible if you have it like so high. But yeah, this is what I use: 35, 70, 50, 70, and then just leave everything default really. So I also add levels just because I record with reshade and I record in low contrast. So this is what the game looks like when I record. It looks pretty washed out. Then I add the levels, which makes it even more washed out, so it's easy to color grade. Then a bit of sharpen, then I add some flicker, which I actually probably should disable because it looks kind of horrible. These are the settings if you want to copy them, I guess. Then then adding everything else on top of it like that. So yeah, that's pretty much it for the video. Sound effects, not amazing. I think it probably could have been better. I think these are all like just super stretched out. I think I don't actually know how much is stretched out, like that much, and I set it to classic as well. So yeah, they're a mixture of Source and CSGO sounds, so yeah, they're all in there, I guess. I like to keep everything organized in my project file. So this is the main layer where everything, this is all like the good clips that have been edited. Down below the main layer is the scrap. So this is all the clips that I've edited that look terrible. So I just drag them down here and just never see them again. If I ever want to go back to them, I can always just unhide them. If I show you, I actually plan to use a different clip here. I was going to use this AWP on cache here, but the velocity looks terrible on it, so I just ditched it and used a different one. So yeah, I use this one instead, which looks a lot nicer with the movement velocity. Another part I was going to use differently was this Deagle skin, actually. This Deagle demo, which I got from Nexus. I'll leave a link to the demo pack in the description if you really want it. Actually, I'll leave all the demos that I used in the description if you really want them. Yeah, this is one I wasn't actually going to use, but then Nexus put this up on his demo pack on his channel, and I thought it was going to look really cool in this edit, so I used it, and it turned out pretty well. One thing I'm not happy about this part is the shake on it. I think it could have probably been a bit more. I use a shake dissolve, and this is some random preset I made. It's pretty much the same preset for all the clips. Probably could have been better, but this is what I did. So yeah, that's pretty much it for that. But one problem that I don't like is actually the artifacting in this here. As you can see on the wall, on the cobble, there's loads of like black lines and artifacting on this wall. That's from reshade actually, because my graphics card isn't like my graphics card isn't like that powerful, so it had problems with trying to record this certain clip. Other maps weirdly work perfectly fine, so Inferno has no problems, Cache has no problems, sort of anyway. Mirage sort of like works on and off. Sometimes it'll work properly, sometimes it'll have loads of artifacting everywhere. This one turned out fine, luckily. So yeah, I decided to leave this one in just because I thought it was good. On top of the main layer, I also have the black bars as well as the scopes. So yeah, that's pretty much it for that. Now my velocity, it's very strange, or all sort of strange to me anyway, because I'm used to 4-point velocity. I start at like 600, then dropped all the way down to like 100, then like 30, then I dropped down to like 5% at some points. Where is it? I think it's about here. As you can see, it goes very high, then slopes all the way down to around 100, then goes down to 20, then about 10ish, then like 5, and then it goes back up real fast. So just down then up. Very different from what I normally do, but I decided to experiment with it because I thought it would look quite good. You can probably tell that this style is very influenced by Nexus and NestQ edits. Those two are my biggest editing inspirations, if you can call it that, I guess. The editing style they do is probably my favorite at the moment, although it's not like super like amazing with lots of VFX. It's just very clean and has very good flow. Like if you've seen Flight Mode by them, that the Duel by Nexus and NestQ, Flight Mode is probably one of my favorite edits from them. It's the flow on it is insane. I use a lot of reverse sound effects to create a bigger impact. As you can see here, there's a Deagle shot that's been reversed and used as an impact for this first Deagle shot here. And I use the same thing for the Deagles over here, and there's an AWP one somewhere here, I think, maybe, I don't know. So yeah, and as you can see, the cinematic here, this spiral sort of radial blur didn't work out as much as I hoped. It looks a lot better in the preview here, but then when you watch on YouTube, it looks terrible because the bitrate gets absolutely destroyed. But yeah, I can't really do much about that, unfortunately. So So yeah, the cinematic here, this took about 2 hours to try and get recorded. It took a very long time. I wanted to get it perfect, but eventually I just sort of gave up and used this one because it was taking such a long time to get it to how I wanted to look. It turned out pretty nicely, but it probably could have been better, I think. Same with this cinematic here. This one took ages as well. A nice close-up. This actually bothers me a bit, like he's cut out from the depth of field. But it's fine, I guess. One of the quickest scenes to record was this one, actually. This one I did on first try, and it turned out great, I think. Sort of, I think. So yeah, that's pretty much it for the project file and my editing. That's what I do. I don't really plan out what I'm gonna do for my edits. I just sort of wing it. So I sort of go along, find some demos that I like from YouTube, and just sort of add them in as I go. So as you can see, I have loads of other demos that I didn't use. I just sort of deleted them and scrapped them. So if you want my render settings, I render in WMV, and I render this one in 4K actually, but this wasn't actually 4K footage because my computer can't handle 4K. But I render 4K just to give it a high bit rate on YouTube because YouTube will destroy it. And I've made videos about this already, but here are the settings anyway. So you know, 4K quality, bit rate is 50. Everything else is pretty much your default, and this one's set to best. And here are my project settings. So there, 1080p for the FPS, resample off because it looks terrible. So yeah, that's pretty much how I do things. Hopefully you found this helpful. I will be doing like a proper full guide on how I edit everything, but that will come later when I get a bit better at editing and can show you like the whole process. If you want to see the full editing process, Lana actually has a really good guide on how he edits his stuff. It's in Russian, but you can still follow what he does on the screen. It's actually pretty helpful, especially for those who want to begin editing and don't know how to start. I'll leave that in the description if you want to check it out. So yeah, that's pretty much it for this video. Hopefully you found it helpful. Now this part of the video is just going to be sort of more of a talky video on why I haven't edited in such a long time. So for those who didn't know, my last edit was the Nade King edit, and that was about 7 months ago, I think. And the reason behind not editing was because I sort of fell into a depressed state of not wanting to do anything related with editing, aside from making the editing tutorials that you guys saw. I just lost all motivation to make edits. It was mainly from the comments that people, or the things that people said to me about my editing and my channel altogether, and how it was not good for the editing community. My channel is not exactly a small channel. Well, it is kind of small if you compare it to like PewDiePie or whatever. My channel compared to his is tiny. But compared to like some other people, my channel is not exactly a small one. And I'm always grateful for that. Thank you for the support. Like, I really mean it. I never expected my channel to become really this big. We are close to 10,000 subscribers now, I think. We're a couple hundred off. So yeah, I sort of stopped editing after some comments were made, and I sort of didn't want to edit anything. And yeah, so in fact I was actually quite nervous when I was releasing this edit that you saw 1 week ago or whatever, whenever I uploaded this, because I wasn't sure on how people would react to it, because maybe it wouldn't meet their standards, because although my channel is large, but I'm still a crap editor. So yeah, if you're wondering what the comments are, I'm not going to say them. If you can probably guess what they are. I wasn't exactly sure on how people would react to this edit, like if the reaction would be like super negative and ask why I'm still a crap editor and why I suck at this and that or whatever. But when I uploaded, all that went away with all the amazing comments you guys posted on saying how awesome it was and how cool it was. Of course, you're still going to get negative comments stuff, but I tend to try and ignore them. But yeah, that's pretty much it. I never expected my channel to become this big, especially with the editing tutorials. I just wanted to make some guides to help people on how to edit as I was learning myself. I started editing back in 2014 or 15 after I decided to give editing a try. I saw Rechi's frag movie a long time ago, back in like 2012 or 13 or whatever, and I wanted to edit videos, but I didn't really have a computer to do it. So once I got a computer, I started editing straight away, and it sort of turned into this. I never expected it to be this huge, and I'm always thankful for everyone subscribing and liking the videos and leaving nice comments to me, even messaging me on all my social media. I read every single comment and reply to every single message, because I'm always thankful for everything that you guys have done for me. Thank you for everything you've done for me with the channel. Thank you for the support. Thank you for watching the video. Thank you for liking, subscribing, doing everything. Without your support, I probably wouldn't have continued editing. I probably would have given up a long time ago. But yeah, thank you for watching. Hopefully you found this video helpful. This is actually an unscripted or unplanned video. I normally go into tutorials and stuff. I plan out what I'm going to do and explain. This one is unplanned. I just sort of winged it. But hopefully it's helpful. Hopefully you found something useful out of it. Or you just watched it because you're bored. That's fine as well. And I'll see you on the next one. Thanks for watching.